welcome everybody to episode, what is it, 212?
213.
213. Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Of The China Show, the real China Show. Where
That's
we
the
tell
one.
you everything that's happening in China right now, and we have a little bit of fun at the same time.
We really hope we made you stronger on that intro.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's the lyric.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
very
good.
good. It's very good.
I think you forgot what song we play.
No, I remember.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Anyway, guys, so we're going to get right into it. We're going to saunter right into it with what's new. We've got some important topics to talk about today. Of course, we've got the Taiwan thing. We'll get to that later. But we also have our regular stuff. So let's...
Well, not quite later. We're going to show you a little Taiwan stuff in the beginning, too.
Oh, that's very true, yes. But first, a little bit of what's new. As we can see, you've got a gentleman on the back of a... He's on the back of one of those water spray. Yes.
Here
we have a gentleman. I think I may be being a little bit liberal by using the word gentleman, but whatever. Okay. Standing on the back of a water sprayer truck, spraying some people, and you can probably guess why.
It's spraying a cop. This is not one of those anti-police protests that you'd see in America.
No.
This is
let's make fake propaganda to make the police look like they have such a hard job. Look at them. Look at this guy. He's helping a poor old man through the rain.
So the old man is fake.
Old man's
he doesn't
fake.
need help.
Nope.
The cop is working for the state, needs to look good. Propaganda department says we need people to think cops have,
Such a hard job.
Such a hard job. So they spray them with a truck. And I love, my favorite feature of this?
What?
They do it in public where people are going to film on their phones.
Well, yeah, you can hear the woman's ridiculing this.
Yeah.
She's just like, what is this
It's a
nonsense?
joke.
Yeah. So basically, that's how it works. Whenever you see propaganda coming out of China, it's just some facade. It's something they've made up.
Yeah.
See?
It's embarrassing.
Yeah. Now, of course, we have to talk about what's happening in Taiwan at the moment.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's pretty hot. As you know, somebody new's been elected into, the
William
government
Lai.
there. And as a response,
The president.
yeah. And as a response, as usual, China throws a hissy fit. They do this every time, by the way. This is not like something they've never done before. But this time they've ramped it up a little bit. So they're putting things like what you're going to see here on Chinese state TV, showing like in beautiful, amazing computer graphics, just how they're going to blow the shit out of Taiwan. Take a look at these explosions. It's like explosion.freepng.org.
Can you pause it there? I just want to ask you a question.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you guys are new to this whole Taiwan thing, but China keeps telling the rest of the world that they want peaceful reunification with Taiwan.
Does this look peaceful to you?
What is that?
It's literally like freepng.org,
you
transparent PNG GIF.
Are you just having friends over for bonfires?
Yes.
Because that looks like you're actually physically blowing up Taiwan.
Yeah, so it's not about friendly reunification. Never has been. It's just a lie.
Can't be a reunification.
Who's
if you
the
were
new
never
person
unified.
that was elected in?
William Lai?
Yeah, it's just a lie.
It's just a lie. Yeah. William, it was really nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got some secret spy footage of the actual People's Liberation Army
Can
Air
I give them a
Force.
caveat?
Sure.
Don't share this.
Yeah, this is secret.
This is secret. This is only here that you can see this, and forget about it when you're done, because we're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. So as you know, the People's Liberation Army Air Force, the PLAF, as it's known.
Yes.
This is their CG representation, but the actual footage of their preparations for the assault, we managed to get some spy footage, so we'll show you here in a second. Here we go. I'll get us out.
We're gonna get in trouble.
Here it comes. Anyway, guys, it's time for Slopaganda. Sorry about that. Of course, on a more serious note, we will talk about the whole Taiwan thing a bit more in depth later in the show.
Very more in depth.
Yeah, very more in depth. So be prepared for that. You like statistics? You like little graphs? That's
Better
C-Milk's
believe
wheelhouse.
you're about to get hit with stats and figures, and you will walk away from this episode being an expert on what's happening and be able to talk to other people about it.
Yeah. Yeah, either that or you'll have like graph fatigue. Anyway, Slopaganda is when I like
graph excitement.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to show you this week's Slopaganda because China loves putting out through Chinese state media propaganda for you, the foreigner, okay, in your language, English, if you're an English speaker anyway. So put it out in English.
You better be if you're watching this. This must be pretty damn
Otherwise,
boring.
you probably can't understand what's going on.
Watching two
But anyway,
idiots laughing all the
exactly.
time.
So they basically put this stuff out. They get foreign presenters, and this time they want to tell you about this new thing they've launched, this amazing new technology, which is like a virtual tour of a tourist site. Okay. They put a lot of effort into this.
Is it a grotto library?
It's a grotto library. Okay.
What?
So hang on a second here. We'll let our host here, Stephanie, introduce us to this. I'll get us out of here. Let's take a look. Because there's a lot to unpack.
The Mogao Grottos are a UNESCO World Heritage
Pretty
Site.
quiet.
Oh, it's a bit quiet? I'm sorry. I'll bring it up. By the way, what is a Mogao Grotto? You know about these, right?
Yeah, so in Dunhuang in Gansu, I'll set the scene here.
Sounds
when
very
you're
familiar.
when you're on your way to Xinjiang, kind of western, it's in western China, in the desert areas. This was an important area in the Silk Road. They built all these grottos. There was all kinds of very important texts that were scribed there. It's actually a really important piece of Chinese history.
Yes, so it's like some ancient grotto.
IRL.
Yeah,
Like,
in real life,
yeah.
yeah. So it's an ancient grotto where they found a bunch of Buddhist scrolls and things from a long time ago. And it is a really interesting place. But now, of course, they want to bring it to the world as soft power to say, this is how China's so amazing. Even though it's got absolutely nothing to do with modern China.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, let's take a look.
Today, the Mogao Grottos are a UNESCO World Heritage Site, widely regarded, and of course, an important spot for research and tourism. To preserve all of these treasures from both environmental and human impact, one of the latest of such efforts is a partnership between Dunhuang Academy and Tencent.
Okay, now I have to stop us here. I don't want to just keep stopping us, but while I was looking through this footage, I noticed something. Can you see there's something wrong with this footage?
I'm
What? I noticed something about
I noticed something that you did in the edit.
What? What?
They may have or may not have said widely regarded, and
They did. So
there was a bit of a glitch.
Was there a glitch? No, that's normal.
Anyway, yes, I noticed this too.
You
Why
wanna-
are you going back?
I'm trying to see what you're trying to talk about here.
Heritage Site, widely regarded, and of course, an important spot for research
What? I don't
and
see
tourism.
anything
Okay,
wrong about that. It's not
so-
To
inaccurate.
preserve all of these treasures from both environmental and human impact.
Stop.
One of the latest of such efforts is a partnership between Dunhuang Academy and Tencent.
So this
Okay.
is wild. I want you to explain this, but I want to toot our own horn.
Okay.
We have made fun of China's sky and propaganda so many times now
Yeah.
that they are now actually doing something about it.
They're doing something about
It's
it.
so funny. They're literally watching this show, guys. If you're watching the China show right now, you are part of history because we are
Yes.
influencing the propaganda department in China. And I'm not joking. I'm not being
Yeah,
facetious.
exactly. Take a look at this. So this shot, I noticed there's something very strange about this shot when I was editing this.
Digital Library and Tencent.
So look, I zoomed in and look at the border of the building there compared to the sky.
Digital Library
They
and
keyed it out.
Yeah, look at the trees. Okay, so this is in the bottom corner. I'm going to show the original again in a minute, but look at this is in the bottom corner. Take a look at those trees. What's happening here?
Tencent. Digital Library and
China, we know we know you're trying to like hide the polluted sky. You got to do it in a. And I know you're listening to us, and I know you're watching this for advice and stuff. And the first thing we watched them do was just only film B-roll on good days and
Yes.
then cut that in all the time.
Yeah.
But now when they don't have that option, they're quite literally cutting the sky out with like a tool.
Yes, with a mask.
Yeah.
And they're doing it badly. And I figured it out. Like in my editing software, I literally just dropped a chroma key on top. And take a look what I got.
Digital Library and Tencent.
Okay, so
Just to show you can do this.
I threw the chroma key on there and it very perfectly cut out the building exactly because they had done that.
Yes. They
Okay? So they actually
They literally did Sky Does Lie.
yes, they changed the sky.
Wow.
So it must have been pretty bad for them
Bro.
to do that.
China,
Yeah.
get better.
So I thought, I mean, it's quite interesting. You could put anything. You could put their new solar, if you wanted their new solar CG stuff in the background, no problem. Okay?
This is truly
Digital
retarded.
library.
So dumb. So actually, I just want to go back so that you guys can see it, and I'll play it uninterrupted.
That's wild.
I do want you to know that I did not edit this. Okay, it went.
Dunhuang Academy.
This is the
and
original
Ten-
footage. This is original.
Yeah.
And it was only when I exported and I was just checking it, and I was like, you know what? There's something weird going on.
Yeah, I watched you edit. I was like, what's
Yeah.
that?
So here we
Digital
go.
Library Me and Tencent. Digital Library Me and Tencent.
It's the green
Digital
screen in the sky.
Library
Yeah, they
and
green screened the sky.
Tencent.
That's wild.
It's
Digital
crazy.
Library and Tencent.
Yeah. So anyway, let's continue with this.
Digital
where it goes.
Library Caves is an immersive role-playing digital platform designed to bring the Mogao grottos and its exquisite art and history directly to you.
That's awkward.
Try again.
Yeah.
Do it again.
There we go.
Well,
Oh, hello there. I didn't see you.
now that Digital Library Caves is available in English and French,
What am
Let's
I
have a
looking
try.
at?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but why'd they make her wear that?
I have a feeling she likes cosplaying.
I don't know if she does.
You think she just goes with it?
I think she had to do it.
They're like, we're going to do this magical girl transformation scene, and you're going to love it.
I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, let's see what this is. Now, full disclosure, I may have added some extra footage here, but I do show the real stuff too. Okay. Anyway, let's see. She's going to take a look at what this digital library cave is all about.
Okay.
Okay.
So look, that's
let's take-
fascinating. Imagine going to that.
Yeah, well, let's take a look what it's like.
So, by the way, this is supposed to be for an audience. I'm not going to go to China. I'm going to look at these caves
Yes.
through whatever app
Yeah.
or whatever. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
So it's, we'd all be able to do it. So let's take a look.
Wow. I mean, it's so pretty. Just the richness, the colors, the way the lighting is falling through the caves. It's, if you cannot be there, which I understand if you can't fly all the way to China to see these caves, like, it is the next best thing. I do want to enter the library cave. Oh.
Okay. So I may have overlaid something there.
It already looks bad though.
Yeah. So,
Your stuff looks cooler.
yeah, exactly, because it's more accurate. The footage that they do show, because now this is real, what you're seeing here. This is the real thing. Okay?
How about mist?
Yes. Look at this.
It's mist.
It is. This is
Misty
just...
ribbon.
I'm sorry, but this is 2024 here, and this
Yeah.
looks like it comes from the CD-ROM era, the golden
Yes.
era of 1993
Encarta.
or whatever. Yeah, Encarta 95 and all that stuff. It looks like that, right?
Yeah.
But let's see what else they talk about here.
选择了解或深度体验藏经洞故事，藏经洞的故事。
Can I just say, this is one of my favorite fun facts from the grottos. So on one side of a scroll, they have these Buddhist sutras, scriptures, and on the other side, they have a ledger of the day-to-day liquor consumption of the local officials. And I feel it's so relatable still. I get it. And I feel so relatable. Digital library caves isn't some
You're pulling some cheap shots here.
It's not a cheap shot. It's
It's cheap
accurate.
wine.
Yeah, but it's accurate, okay?
It's a cheap
Even
shot of
she will
wine.
agree. If she sees this, she'll say like, yep, you got me. You know it. By the way, do you love the camels? Could you see the camels in the forest?
What? What is that?
Yeah, look, take a look.
rough.
This is worse than the DOS shit you showed earlier.
It is. It is so much worse. Okay, so this
Graphics as old as the cave.
Digital library.
yes. Okay, so
Predates the cave.
it does. Let's take a look again. Now this is the real thing, okay? And she's explaining how amazing it is. Let's take a look. Look at the camels.
Caves isn't some.
I love these CG camels.
Rough.
Look at
those
them.
are so pretty.
Yeah, they are.
I love those.
Yeah, she's like, it's not a rough approximation, no.
Approximation. You have this rich, faithful reconstruction.
Oh, is that the Unreal Engine?
That's just Unreal Engine. Again, China, they're not very good at creating anything original. So what do? They take the Unreal Engine, any one of us can do it, and they...
Yeah, the propaganda team has never done one original thing I've ever seen. Have you seen?
No, it's not possible. So they take the Unreal Engine and they just basically build a
The
bunch of
site.
models in there.
That is right.
This is apparently this game is actually just footage from a game called Legend of Jiapar Island.
Yeah, Jiapar Island. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see this like damaged plaster patch assets and all this.
Yeah.
They're just using like stock assets.
You know what's cool is they use the most modern version of the Unreal Engine to make RuneScape.
Yeah, they do.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Good
it's
job,
ridiculous.
guys.
Yeah, well done.
You're spending those propaganda bucks very well.
Exactly.
Ready to receive digital visitors.
Like us.
Okay, so I wanted to point out a couple things here. So this entire propaganda thing, it's on China Daily, which is, one of the top state media. It's like right up there. How many subscribers do they have?
Let's see, it's got a
1.58.
Almost 1.6 million.
Yeah, 1.6 million subscribers. And this was unleashed on the world on May 9th,
Yeah.
which is what? It's got about 2 weeks ago or something?
Yeah.
So
No,
about...
that was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
You're
2 or
right.
3 weeks ago. That's right. It has 354 views. So
they flew Stephanie out,
yeah,
bought a costume for her.
yeah, they made her do this costume nonsense.
I'll make this better, guys. I'm not going to just reiterate. Listen,
Yeah,
they made this thing in Unreal Engine, this mist clone
yeah,
about the Dunhuang caves,
correct.
the grotto.
Miss Two Riven.
The whole premise of this video is, hey, maybe you can't make the trek to China.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is make this whole experience for you. We're going to put it online with 1.6 million subscribers.
Yeah.
It's going to get 300 views. And then you go, you're one of those 300 lucky people.
Yes, yeah, one of them.
The one Indian guy that watched this.
Sure.
He's like Bob's and Vagan.
Yeah.
Then he wants to look for the Bob's and Vagan in the grotto,
Yeah,
in the
sure,
cave, right?
sure.
So he goes, oh, let me click the link to where I can go to this digital library. Because that's the whole point of this video.
The whole point is
you
like,
as a viewer are going to go be able to, probably for free, go view this digital
Yeah, it's like,
library
let's have a look,
online.
yeah.
Virtual tourism.
yeah,
Where is the link?
there's no link. So that's just pointless. It's literally like, we've created this thing. Let's all give it a try. You can try it. Now it's available. You go try it. Where? There's no link.
It doesn't exist.
And 354 people saw it. And it cost them how much?
How much?
To film this, to fly her out, to do all the digital
To
editing.
green screen the
sky. Yeah. Slopaganda. That's why it's called Slopaganda.
This is a japper full of slopaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
A
insane.
very full japper.
It's
Yeah.
just so crazy that it takes people like us to figure this out. We are probably helping the Chinese government be able to go and hold people's feet to the fire.
Yeah, and be
They're
like,
probably
"What is this?"
What did you do?
Yeah.
Do you see these guys? I mean, they're our enemy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they have a good point here. How much did you spend on this?
Yes, exactly. To get 354 views and no link to go anywhere.
There's no link. I'm
Yeah.
crying. I
Yeah.
mean, that was my favorite part of this.
Yes.
And we saved it for the end for a reason. There is no way to use this software.
No.
You made an ad for the software and it isn't real.
Yeah, you can't get to it anyway. Even if it is real, it sucks. Looks like a flash animation.
unreal.
Yeah, it's unreal. You're right. Okay. Anyway, I guess it's
Anyway, the Bobs of
Yeah.
Vagan will never be seen.
no.
They're sealed
he heard,
away in
he
the
heard
grotto.
cave and got the wrong idea. But yeah, it's pretty lame, and I gotta say, even by like any standard, it's a piss poor effort at trying to do something.
I just don't understand. What I'm confused about is, let's say, okay, they didn't make the program. It's obviously for propaganda. They just want people to look at these grottos and be impressed by Chinese culture, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't even get any views.
Yeah.
No one watched it.
I'm just sorry, like those camels and stuff. Like anyone, they make it out as if it's this amazing collaboration with Tencent. It's this big thing that they've done, right? But
You know what happened here, by the way?
money just what?
They went for barbecue massages.
Oh,
on
they
the
went for
budget.
barbecue massages. Yeah.
That's where all the CCP money went.
Anyway, I can guarantee you that just about anyone could sit with Unreal Engine for about a day and make a more compelling product than that.
Well, there was no product, so yes.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, let's move on because we have a VIP show, guys, on Monday. And if you weren't there this Monday, this is what you missed out on. They added that engine sound, yeah. Bam.
Check this out. He has like a full one, and then when you need to get in tight places, he's got a little one.
It looks pretty rubbish, though. I'm going to be honest. It looks... Oh, yeah, because it won't go under.
It won't go under. It floats
Yeah.
too well. No one gives a shit.
They're just like, what even is going on here? It's like a fish.
It's like a parade float.
I guess it's cool that's the steering wheel.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Now, see, wouldn't that be a beautiful scene if the
wasn't
sky wasn't
polluted, yeah.
disgusting? Yeah, look at you see what I mean? Surely there are better ways to wash your hair. Yeah, so
Last episode is Chinese backyard vehicles.
it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, as
I had
always.
someone in the chat earlier say if you didn't see the last Humanoid, watch it. It was amazing.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
And so, yeah, we did this one about slacking off at work. We did one about fake brands. We did a whole episode about people getting too drunk. Very funny. Lots of great videos there. Useless inventions.
Yeah, I mean, we cover a whole gambit. And the thing is, you guys get to vote on what topics you want us to cover. So if you can, and you have the means, we'd love to see you on Monday for Xiaban Ho, our VIP show.
And remember, it's usually stuff we can't show on YouTube.
Yeah.
Normal stuff. So go to patreon.com/ADVpodcast. Support us at the Xiaoban Ho tier. You not only get all the future episodes, which are live, they also stay up.
Yeah.
You get the whole backlog of about 100 episodes now.
Yes, almost 100.
Remember, this is not behind the scenes stuff. This is straight up.
It's a different show. It's not one of those like, hey, you come hang out with us. And,
No.
we'll sit there and say like, so anyone want to ask a question?
Yeah, it's not it.
Let's wait for a couple more people to join in, and it's not one of those. We have everything sorted. It's fun.
Yes, we have votable topics. We have all the stuff that
and a fantastic community that
Yeah.
also is on Discord and everything.
Yes, all the stuff we would love to show on normal shows, but we can't.
Yep.
It's good stuff.
It's good stuff. So hopefully we'll see you there. We got to move on to Beyond the Great Firewall. Now, this is your segment, and I'm glad you put this together today because I have been so sick and tired of this crap.
Why? Cool.
Well, before we even started, I don't know if anyone out there has seen this, but if you go on any social media, you constantly see China's in the future, and they show like Chongqing at night with some LEDs on some buildings.
Yeah.
Who knew that LEDs meant future? Whatever. But one thing you see is like China has humanoid robots now that can do daily tasks like cooking and stuff. And then they always show this, what looks like a humanoid robot, but it's quite obviously just a person doing it. And finally, you found it's been a trend for a while now.
Yeah.
And by the way, you see this humanoid robot crap everywhere, but it's not like there's a bunch of them. It's just one person. Mm-hmm. Anyway, take it away.
So I wouldn't call it crap. I think she's very
No,
talented.
I'm not saying that's crap.
Yeah.
I think it's crap that people are trying to say it's
Yes.
a real China's in the future. They have real humanoid robots.
Fair
They
enough.
don't.
Let's have a look.
Okay.
So this young lady, she works at a Chongqing hot pot restaurant. She actually owns it, apparently.
Yeah.
But she is made to look like a robot. This is not filters or anything. This is just how she moves. She's studied over time.
Yep.
Pop and lock and hip hop dancing. And she's so good at it that she's managed to really be able to articulate the robotic movements. I'll be honest with you. When I saw this at a glance the first time, I was like, "Is that a robot?" Right? When you look at it from a distance,
Yeah.
you glance at it, you're like, "This is very impressive."
Well, she's doing a very good job, but
doing a
that's
good
the
job.
thing. I've seen a lot of people posting it as if this is a real humanoid robot that China's invented.
yeah.
And that's disingenuous and a lie.
That's the issue, right?
It's just a lie.
It's funny because that actually we'll get into this.
Yeah,
because
okay.
This is again behind the Great Firewall. We show you what people in China are talking about. She's become a phenomenon because she's so talented at this, right? So people are flocking to this pikey little hot pot restaurant,
tiny
in
little,
Chongqing.
yeah.
And she's getting camera crews and people showing up to film videos with her and just be really impressed with her.
She's
good
become a
at it.
tourist attraction.
Yes. And lots of dirty uncles showing up,
Sure.
asking her to drink with them.
Why wouldn't you? If you were a dirty uncle.
If you're a dirty uncle. Are you a dirty uncle?
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
I feel like there's potential.
I don't like that you are implying that might be something.
I think anyone has the potential to be a dirty uncle. Just depends on the way your life goes, traumatic
I
experiences.
promise I won't. I just want you guys to look at the wall.
它是全网
Yes. Hey, look, there's
By
a
the way,
foreigner.
there's a foreigner. But shout out to the foreigner in here. And I say that because if you're watching the China show, you're famous now.
Well,
look at that.
Excellent. Yes.
Otherwise, you would, and I say that because this clip was only in China.
Yes.
Now you're famous in the rest of the world because I translated this.
Yes.
So this is a good little summation.
But you did want to just point out the wall, and
I
I would
did.
like to also take a look at the wall.
Yeah.
And if China was so futuristic that they could have humanoid robots, you think they'd be futuristic enough to figure out how to paint a wall
Yeah, well,
or plaster it?
here's the deal. China will do something, the Chinese government will do something that they think the rest of the world will be impressed by and then forget about everything else.
Yes.
Kind of like making the grotto library. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then forget every other detail, like making the grotto library.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that type of thing.
So they're like, we love AI 5G.
Yes.
Obviously, the government didn't come up with this. This girl was just talented, right? Actually
Yeah.
explains this in here. But
Okay, yeah, you
they
translated
don't
this.
have like a robot-themed restaurant here. This is just a pikey hole in the wall.
Yes, it's just
Chongqing
your
hot pot
average
place,
type
right?
of Chinese restaurant, but with a robotic waitress who
Yeah.
owns the place. So yeah, you translated this whole thing.
I did.
And so let's see, what does it say? It says she's the best imitator on the
You just-
最
internet.
厉害的模仿达人，一举一动都像极了机器人。不少网友都表示，看到最后还以为是真的，实在是分不出来真假。结果万万没有想到，这居然是人假扮的。这样的操作也引起了不少人的关注，但是不得不说，他的功夫实在是太厉害。让我们一起走进他的模仿之路。她是一名火锅店的老板娘，但同时也是一名街舞爱好者，在重庆经营着一家火锅店，每天的客人络绎不绝。除了火锅的味道好吃，还有一个很重要的原因，那就是火锅店老板娘有一个绝技。很多人第一次去店里面的时候，看到老板娘在门口站着，乍一看还以为是火锅店为了宣传，花高价请了机器人。不少网友还感叹，现在的人工智能都已经发展得这么迅速，真的是真假难辨啊。但你绝对想不到的是，她居然是老板娘自己扮演的，不仅神态很像，就连肢体动作都十分的像，和机器人一样的卡顿。这要是配上机械声音，那不妥妥的就是机器人。不少网友都表示，这要是不仔细看，还真看不出来是真是假。老板娘不仅穿得像机器人，化的妆也像极了机器人，不仅可以站在门口迎宾，还可以端茶倒水亲自上菜，一举一动看上去都很有机械的感觉，甚至还能够和店里面的客人一块举起酒杯干杯。只不过第一次来到店里面的客人看到他把酒喝下去的那一刻，全都愣住了。评论区更是直接展开了激烈的讨论，到底是真人还是假人，看了半天都分不清。也有人说这绝对是真人，但是看到他动作的时候，又觉得他肯定是机器人。之前只看到过机械舞，但没想到他的表演比机械舞还要厉害。
They added that, obviously. Either that, she's very good ventriloquist.
Yeah.
但是人红是非多，虽然有很多人喜欢看他的表演，但是外界也存在着很多对他的质疑。有人说他是为了内卷才可以去学习的这个东西，为的就是想让自己的生意火爆。也有不少人对他的外貌进行了刻意的评议。对于这样的质疑揣测，老板娘亲自回应，在他看来审美是多元化的，他尊重这些声音，也尊重别人的审美。对于可以去学习这件
I just
Yeah.
wanted to zoom in here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, she says locking, popping and locking.
Yes.
It's up on the back.
I love that. This is hard to put in words.
Love the wall.
Yes, this is hard to put in words, but like, she's a fan of hip hop, pop and locking, right? But it's like a Chinese Chongqing themed restaurant, so it's got all the little, like the red stuff everywhere,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And instead of having like couplets that say like Chinese things, it literally says locking,
Yes.
MC, hip hop, and then if you keep playing right behind her head, I love this one. This is my favorite.
Okay.
Judge.
Yeah.
It's just like all of the elements of a
Yes.
hip hop competition.
Makes sense.
It's like I don't know. It's like if you're a kid and you wrote like, I don't know, like if you wrote on your binder like fight,
Or yeah, you like anime, you
basketball.
write like baka or something, you know, some basic
yeah.
words that you
It's
know
like-
in Japanese, very basic
like-
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's like basketball hoop.
Yes, basketball, hoop, ball, court.
Ball.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just very
that
funny.
type of thing, yeah.
Anyway.
Dribble.
Yes.
Yeah, so again, incredibly talented. There's no doubt about it. She does
sure.
an amazing performance. And
Yeah, you can play the rest through because we can
Laoban
talk
Yang.
over it.
okay, well, it's got some
Yeah, just
noise.
at the
Let's
end.
see.
No, it's almost done.
除了开火锅店之外，也是一位学习10几年街舞的爱好者，经常会和3良好友一起在店里面跳舞展示才艺。而至于火起来，纯属是因为朋友无意间拍下来的视频。
So what happened was she uses drinks with her friends and likes
Yeah.
to show off her performances in this little restaurant, right? But her friends took some videos of her. They're like, "Wow, look
Yeah,
at this!"
so
Posted
amazing.
online and went through the freaking roof.
Yeah, I
dude.
mean, propagandists were saying China's made humanoid robots posting on Twitter. China's
Yeah.
3,000 years ahead with this nonsense.
The original post had nothing to do with that.
Obviously.
Just keep that in mind. This
Yes.
was not made for propaganda.
No, but people took it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I get annoyed at. It's not the fact that there's this very talented young lady who's incredibly good at doing this, by the way. Bravo. She should be a lot more famous than she is, although I'm pretty sure she's pretty astronomically famous right now.
I think she's
Yeah, exactly. But to try and pretend as if China has humanoid robots is ridiculous. Shame on you, whoever did that. And I know you're watching this, you little shills.
it's true.
You
Sure.
know?
But yeah. Originally, people were like, "This is absolutely insane! Like such talent, she can move like that. Such just mechanical operation, as they'd say in Chinese."
Yeah.
This was I found to be wildly inappropriate.
This, yeah.
Like, what are you?
Definitely blinked.
Yeah, but what are you doing? Why are you flicking her?
He's trying to pretend like I guess he's the other boss or something, or Wang Hong, like you said, maybe.
It's just like, can you not
Yeah,
people?
it's kind of dumb. I think it's just trying to like, oh look, you know.
And I get what he's trying to do. It's just maybe don't flick people that
Yeah, you
hard.
didn't need to flick her. That's
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
coulda,
maybe
like,
like poke.
poked.
Yeah, a little poke maybe.
He, like, just gets
Okay,
out
I'm
of
out
there.
of here.
I think she does ads now, probably.
Yeah.
就是像眼神这些肯定是靠演的，但是实际上它靠的是肌肉
It's like,
控
what
制
the-。
我和我的老公2个人都是跳街舞的，我们会有很多跳
There
街
you
舞的
go.
人过来吃饭嘛，然后他们就给我
Humanoid robot.
然后他们就说，哎，真的好像啊。
Turns out it's just a human. It's
Turns
like
out it's just a human.
it's like Elon Musk's Tesla robot.
I really wanted to put that in there. I
yeah,
forgot.
the one that came out in spandex.
That was so dumb. I loved it so much.
Yeah, it was really funny.
So, I mean, there's a reason, okay? There's a reason people were so impressed by this because China often does put out like ridiculous videos about how advanced their robotics are,
Yeah.
and they're oftentimes completely fake. This will be the last one for go ahead and take it in, guys. So we're about to see something very impressive.
Okay. Yeah.
I know that these uncles disrespect her.
Obviously.
I mean, it's just hopefully she stands up for herself because you know these uncles.
Sure. I mean, she can stand up by herself. Impressive for a humanoid robot.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So there's been
Yes.
trends of this kind of stuff all the time. You have these girls that like flick the tea and they pour the beer or like smash the beer on their shoe or whatever.
Yeah, we showed it before,
Yeah.
the chugging of the beer,
Yeah.
and they do that whirlwind thing. It's a thing in China where they have to have some draw to a restaurant. So
Yeah.
they have these trends where they get the waitresses to do something I mean, like they really combined a lot here. This, they've got them on roller skates and pouring that special tea thing and the fox mask.
Yes.
She gets fed.
看到有个
Great.
机器人在门口招手
She gets
我。
fed.
Yeah, the guy gave her.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Was that? That's like the monkey on the rock. Remember that?
Yeah, that's true.
Remember that?
Yeah, I remember
right.
the monkey in the rock.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of this footage. Moving on, I wanted to show you some of the examples of why people are so skeptical about the robotics.
Okay, why are people? Okay, yeah, we'll see.
It's because of this.
Oh, yes.
Like you will get videos like this on the Chinese internet that China will be like, "Oh, look at how far ahead China is in terms of robotics," and they're like using like Snapchat filters.
Yeah, Snapchat filters.
Of
Yeah.
like a robot carrying trays.
Yeah.
My favorite one is this next one that I just blew my mind. This is being shared around as how advanced China is. Like,
Come on.
what are we looking at here?
It's nonsense. It's all falling apart.
But look at it in
What are they
detail.
eating?
We'll explain that in a second. So look at there.
Oh, you can see the guy's hand
his
there.
watch.
Yeah.
Or a woman.
Yeah.
But they're like melting into each other, like going through each other.
Yeah.
What like this was being shared as like a serious clip, dude.
Yeah. I know a lot of people were sharing.
By the way, we're trying to figure this out. Pause it there.
Yeah.
Let's poll the audience. Well, let's ask the audience.
Yeah, just
What
ask.
is this? Should we give them what we thought?
I mean, you were thinking what, eels?
I was thinking eels.
I thought it was some kind of neck of like a goose neck or something at first,
too
but then
long for that.
yeah, I have no idea. It doesn't look very appetizing.
Yeah, I mean, what is that?
Yeah, what
I
do you
mean,
guys-
we've eaten everything in
Yeah,
China.
pretty much.
And I don't think I've eaten eels, but I've never seen them cooked like that, and I've also never seen snakes cooked like this, usually in
Yeah.
soups and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
weird. Who knows?
who knows? It's Imagine Dragons, apparently.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Let's leave it at that.
That's not intestines, no.
No.
guys.
No, you eat a lot of
Yes, and
intestines.
that's
You're
not-
kind of an
I'm a
expert.
connoisseur.
Yeah,
That's not intestines.
a lot of chilies on there.
It's mostly chilies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, you get the idea. We took you behind the Great Firewall, and hopefully you enjoyed it.
Yes. Okay. So now it's time for Soft Power Hour, where we talk about how China's trying to change your mind in many, many ways. And well, actually, that whole robot thing is kind of trying to change everyone's mind. to be
True.
honest. In a way.
Inadvertently.
Yeah. Again, it's not the fault of the girl and her performance or her restaurant or the gimmick or anything.
No, 'cause that's
It's-
cool.
It's the fault of these idiots that just run with something and then they try to pretend something that's not something is something.
Especially, it's not fair to her. She didn't set out to do that.
No.
To
No, of
look
course
like
not.
an actual robot for China's AI 5G.
Yeah, but then the fact that the shill's going to run with it
Yeah.
and be like, oh, look, China's so advanced.
Pretty regarded.
It really is, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, regarded or not, William Lai is highly regarded in a good way because
Yes.
we're talking about the new president. Congratulations to William Lai, who was elected as the president.
Free
of
and democratic
Taiwan.
process.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Now, to make you understand why this is important, here on the next slide,
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand that Taiwan is run usually between two parties. Now, there are multiple parties, but two parties dominate the voter scene, right? You have the Kuomintang. The Kuomintang, or Kuomintang, as it's
Yeah.
spelled in Wade Giles,
Kuomintang, yeah.
was the party that ran away, the
nationalist
nationalist party that
party.
ran away from China and fled to Taiwan when they lost against the communists and the Japanese.
In a civil war, which never ended, by the way. So they.
Think of it kind of like North Korea and South Korea.
Yeah.
They're kind of they're at a stalemate, right? Taiwan's like, no, we're going to chill down here.
Yeah.
And then China's like, no, we want you.
Yes.
We need you, right?
Yeah.
Now, China's always sided more. It's weird because think about this. The Kuomintang was fighting against the communists, but China sides more with the Kuomintang because the Kuomintang is more about maybe someday we'll get back together.
Yeah, and also it's a relic of that time, and Taiwan has moved on since then.
Yeah.
Taiwan became this incredible country, for lack of a better word, because it is. You know,
But-
technologically advanced, vibrant culture. It's an amazing place. It's one of my favorite places in the
Me
world.
too.
Yeah.
But to the CCP, they prefer that because that's more like there's a hope that reunification could happen.
Sure.
Right? There's a hope that the old guard and the old money would be more in line with the values of the CCP today than they would with any sort of Western-friendly government,
Sure,
perhaps, right?
sure.
Then you have the DPP, which is Democratic Progressive Party. They're the good guys usually. They want Taiwan to be a democratic free country.
Yeah.
And they are more vocal about being separate from China. They don't want to go back to China.
And look,
right?
it's an actual democracy without any caveats, not some whole process, people's bullshit. Let's add a couple of things onto the word democracy to try and make it sound like it's a democracy, but it's not. They actually are a democracy. People go and vote. You can vote for your little area. You can vote for your president. You can vote for everything. You can vote to fix the potholes in the road.
Yes. So Tsai Ing-wen was the previous president. She was in the DPP.
Yeah.
And then her successor, William Lai, also won from the DPP.
Yes.
Right? So that's important to understand. China, think about them having a hissy fit. They're going ape. Right?
Of course, every single time. Remember when Nancy Pelosi landed or whatever, there's Operation Fish Killed, and they had to shoot missiles in the water. Every single time that Taiwan does something on its own because it's its own country, China's like, no.
Yes.
How dare you?
Now, it's gotten so bad that
Yeah.
they're real mad this time.
Yes.
Now, they always get real mad, right?
Yeah. I'll take
But-
this volume down and we'll just play this again.
What happened was when William Lai took office, China, if they don't do something about it, then their
They look weak.
populace goes, "What are you doing, government? You said you were going to take back Taiwan a million billion times."
Do you remember last time, actually, it was when Nancy Pelosi landed on Taiwan? Remember the people crying and throwing fits in the streets because the government had said that's the final red line. If America lands a military plane on Taiwan, that's it, it's done.
Yeah.
And then America landed a military plane on Taiwan and the government didn't do anything.
It was more like
Yeah.
kind of a no you moment.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Oh yes, it was one of these. Exactly. And literally people were crying. They were so disappointed in their government because when you fed so much propaganda about we will take it back, we will resolutely, this and that, and then nothing happens. They're like, my government is lying to me. It's a freaking lie. We are powerless. We're weak.
I'll be honest with you. This is a bit of there's a point of contention here, but between that event and then the Shanghai COVID crackdowns, those two things were the diciest thing that China almost lost control over the populace.
It's true.
They were like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's not what you said you were going to do.
Nope.
All they have to do is shut up, earn money, and then they let the government do whatever they want because they don't have a choice, right?
Yeah.
But when the government's not paying the piper,
Yeah.
they're lying through their teeth and they're not delivering what they promised the people, like taking back Taiwan 100 billion times.
Yeah, how many times? Yeah. And these red lines, China's final red line is never its final red line. It's always its first ever iteration. It's its like pre-release line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's nonsense. They're always like, this is our final red line every single time.
Yeah.
And whenever that line's crossed, they're just like, don't do anything. They just like have a little hissy fit and like, you'll regret it.
Yeah, so let's see what they did. So first they launched CG missiles.
Yeah, you see how they mix it with real footage to make it seem, this is like a
I
training
think
exercise?
that even though you're aware of that, it works. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, it's bad. There's blowing stuff up. And at the same time, you see like real planes. You're like, oh, it could be real.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
So what they're doing, I suppose the best way to explain this is a mock blockade.
Yeah.
So they've surrounded the island with their military exercises, basically. But remember, this is punishment for this new guy being elected. This is why they're doing it. They're like, how dare you elect someone? You're not allowed to do anything on your own.
Go to the next one, actually. It's a little clearer.
Okay.
So I wanted to point something out, which you guys might be able to see properly. Why's that?
Yeah.
See the red?
Yes.
So that's the current blockade.
Yes.
So this is where China is around Taiwan right now.
Yeah.
If you look at this, you're gonna freak out. Like if you're interested in the future of World War III here,
Sure,
this is how it's probably gonna kick off, right?
Yeah.
So you have them surrounding here, but what I want to put in perspective, and I think this is key, is that, and I think this is good because a lot of media sources will try to hype this up.
Yeah.
Not to support China. In fact, they'll be critical of China, but be like, oh my gosh, this is the end.
Yeah,
right?
there's a lot of fear-mongering and nonsense going on.
What I wanted to show with this graphic, and this is the important thing, is this isn't new. If you see the yellow part,
You mean the green?
the greenish yellow, whatever.
Everybody in the audience, is that green or yellow? Let's make a poll.
It doesn't
Do
matter.
it.
I'll
Do
call
it.
it green. I don't care.
No, seriously.
No, I don't care. I'll call it green. I don't care.
Okay.
It
No,
looks
don't
green.
be so defeatist.
It's greenish.
It's
Greenish.
it's absolutely green.
It's greenish.
It's like a light green.
Okay.
Green or
You're trying
yellow?
to have an argument out of nothing.
I get it. Let's do it though. Come
Green
on.
or yellow. All right, let's
Green
do
or
this.
yellow? Are these little things over
Trying
here?
to make a point here and teach people
I know,
something.
I know, but we gotta.
Green or yellow. Look at my poll. Green or yellow? Yes. No.
What? Are you asking whether they want to do the poll? Yeah. Okay. Yes or no?
Hold
yeah.
on.
All right. I got
Poll.
green. Yeah. All right.
I'll call it poll, like Polish.
Okay. All right. Is it
poll.
green or is it yellow? Let's put this to rest.
What do you mean arrest? It's your argument. I said it's green. I just misspoke.
No, you didn't misspeak.
It's yellowish
you just,
green.
You just were defeatist. Like, I don't want to deal with this now, so I'll just say it's
Because I
green.
don't. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Sometimes you just gotta take the L.
I'm the one that always gets the W and you won't take the L. I took the L. So
Yeah.
you said sometimes you just got to take the L. Man who took the L within seconds and moved on.
True. I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page
Do
here.
polls for
That
every
is
question.
green. Okay.
I agree.
Okay, now you
it's
agree.
green.
Okay. Good. So now
It's already
reason-
almost 1,000 votes. Thank
Okay.
you. I mean,
And-
people, you should sigh up and just say yellow to
I
teach
think
this
the few.
man a
I think
lesson.
that like 11% that said yellow are just trying to mess with you. That's all. Let me ask you. Your cup. What color is that?
This? That's green. Am I sure?
Anyway,
This is yellow.
yeah, absolutely. Anyway, okay, we put that to rest. It's definitely green. Now it's important,
I'm
okay?
ending the poll.
Because green is the color of the Democratic Party as well, right?
Yeah, it has nothing to do with this. Can I explain?
Yes,
this?
you
So
can.
the red is the current blockade.
Yeah, the red is what's happening now.
You got all these ships. You got all this crazy Navy movement.
Yes.
Aircraft movement.
Aircraft
it's actually wow. We'll show you all
and
the
boats and
yeah,
stuff.
We'll show you everything. That green is 2022. This
Yes.
already happened.
This happened before.
People
and this
have such selective memory.
Yeah, they just can't remember. Look, it's exactly the same. I mean, a little bit shifted. And what happened in 2022 to cause this?
2022's event was Pelosi, wasn't it? What are you talking
Probably,
about?
yeah.
That was that year, right? I'm mixing up
I think
my
so.
years. Hold on. Blockade.
And
of
remember, there was some
Taiwan.
other
2022.
2022.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's when they closed off the 6 zones. 6 zones of the what's it called? The Taiwan Strait.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
And remember we had Operation Fish Kill.
Yes, it was Operation
Yes, this
Fish
was following Nancy Pelosi. I was correct.
Okay.
So right when Nancy Pelosi visited, they did this, right?
Yeah, so they've done it before. Now they're just doing it because
This is Unger Warm time.
it's Unger Warm. Because Lai, got elected. So
William Lai. So anyway, I wanted to just keep
just
you
to
guys
put
keep it in mind.
some things into perspective, because look, it does. We're not trying to downplay the seriousness of this, right? It is serious, and what China is doing is absolutely disgusting. And for most places in the world, this would be a declaration of war.
Yeah,
okay?
these are spooky bricks.
Yeah.
You're looking at spooky bricks right here.
Yeah, very spooky bricks. But just to also calm things down a bit, this is not something out of the blue,
No,
because this is
absolutely
something they've done before.
It's par for the
Hence
course.
the green yellow things.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go to the next one. This one's even spookier
Sure.
because this one's got lines on it.
Uh huh.
See the lines?
Yes.
But now you can actually see some of the
Are
crap.
these some final red lines we're looking at here?
This is an important point here.
Okay.
You're looking at a terrifying blockade. This quite literally looks like an invasion.
It does.
Right.
Look, they're all around the island. Yeah.
I got some cold water to throw on everyone here. There have been no signs of any heavy vessels from China. There have been no amphibious assault ships. There have been no aircraft carriers. So when you have a blockade, you're automatic. I think your mind goes to, well, there's going to be aircraft carriers all over the place. There's going to be all these fucking
Massive warships.
frickin' warships.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
Right. All this crazy. I stopped before I said the CK.
Yeah.
I just said pho.
Yeah.
Like,
like when you eat that stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
A real invasion would have massive ships,
Sure.
massive fleets of actual ships that would be being used, right?
Yeah.
I have a little quote here. The last time a major amphibious assault took place close to Taiwan was the U.S. invasion of Okinawa in 1944. It shows you how rare this is.
Yeah.
The U.S. fleet had nearly 300 naval combatants, including 11 fleet carriers, large aircraft carriers, right?
Yeah.
And hundreds of troop and supply ships. There's none of that here. None.
Yeah. And how big is Okinawa in comparison to Taiwan?
It's minuscule.
Freaking tiny. So
This
yeah.
is- it's a show of force. This is, if you want my expert opinion, and I'm being facetious, my non-expert opinion.
Sure, you can be an expert.
I'll be an expert on...
Not on colors though.
No, apparently not. My non-expert opinion is that this is a show of force for the domestic populace in China, as it always is. And until I'm proven wrong otherwise, I'm always going to say, boy, cried wolf here.
Yes.
I
But-
just haven't
yeah.
seen anything different. You know, it's every time a major event that China gets mad at with Taiwan's
Yeah.
sovereignty, they
It's
do
a
this.
bunch of
Yeah.
guerrilla chest punt. What do you call that? Chest bashing, chest thumping.
Chest
By the
thumping,
way,
yeah.
those are yellow.
Those are green, right?
No, this time you're right. In retrospect,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
see.
like if you were to superimpose these and suddenly take the green one away, then you would be
Yeah.
correct. Just saying, you know.
All right. Well,
But yeah, look, China likes to do this. They are a bully, right? And
Pride
it's literally like a bully who's been denied and, rejected by a girl he likes.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks he can control her life even though she's got nothing to do with him. And that's what's happening here with China.
so
Judy's not your girlfriend.
Judy's not your girlfriend. And I spoke to some Taiwanese about their opinion of this. Actually, I'll finish off with that. But first, let's look at the response. This is the good part.
Yeah.
This is from Kyle Bass. This is a great little infographic about which ships are being used in the
Yeah, I'll read this. Or do you want to read it?
No, go ahead.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
It says, China has now surrounded Taiwan in all directions. CCTV on mainland China has interviewed a senior Chinese military official who explained that Taiwan is an isolated island with weak self-sufficiency. Given Taiwan's reliance on fuel imports, he said the CCP can make it a dead island once it is besieged and blockaded. key months for amphibious invasion are April, May, and August. It seems Xi's plans are on track for an invasion sooner than most are expecting.
I think Kyle has some great points on CCP stuff. I think he's not wrong here.
Yeah.
I will politely disagree with the final point.
I do disagree with that,
I think
too.
there's no way to know that. This is not any different than anything we've ever seen before.
How many times, I mean, have we had this situation where they're like, literally, it's our final red line, we will invade and we'll take it in 3 days and all that?
Yeah.
You know, over and over and over again. So yes, we can always say that we have to be prepared for the worst, but there's nothing really out of the ordinary here.
Yeah, I mean, prove me wrong. Don't prove me wrong.
Don't prove me
Please
wrong.
don't do this, China.
Yeah. So, this is the global times. So we're still continuing. This is not the response yet. This is, again, China's state media saying that the PLA Eastern Theater Command recently organized its Army, Naval, Air, and Rocket forces to conduct joint drills around Taiwan Island to test the troops' combat capability in joint operations. Completely rightful, legitimate, and necessary. You know, again, this is like, if you have to say that, exactly. And it's literally like, are you talking to Jüri? You know?
Yeah.
When she's,
I heard you talk to my girlfriend.
Yeah, but she's not your girlfriend. But it's like, but I heard you talk to her. Don't you dare talk to her. You know, that kind of thing.
Judy's not your girlfriend.
No, Judy's not your girlfriend, China. But I mean, they show this infographic again in CG, showing like, oh, these are the things coming out, and then they're going to just attack and blow up the island. Again, this just shows you China is a bully. China is belligerent. China's got nothing to do with peace. They keep going on about peaceful reunification.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's an absolute joke. It's funny. They'll do that 364 days of the year, and then one day of the year do this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we are peaceful. We don't want anything. We just want peaceful reunification. Taiwan wants to come back to the mainland, and like 90% of Taiwanese people don't.
Yeah, they don't.
But they keep going, oh, we'll make sure it happens peacefully and blah, blah. And then the rest of the year they do this.
And if people are stupid enough to trust them, by now you should have realized that whole one country, two systems with Hong Kong, they're like, oh, we won't lie, you know, we'll let that continue to go. But no, they just completely bulldozed all of that stuff. Completely broke their promises.
You know what China says when they someone asks her if they don't know who Judy is. Who's Judy?
Yeah.
They say, she goes to a different school. You wouldn't know her.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, this is Taiwan footage of Taiwan. Now Taiwan's been setting up some supersonic anti-ship missiles, missile batteries in response. You know, you got to be prepared. What's that?
Energizer or Duracell?
Yeah. Not those kind of batteries. More like, you know, assault and battery.
Oh, crap. What about assault with batteries?
Yeah, that would be assault and battery. Yeah, assault with batteries, yeah. I guess if you took a bunch of like batteries and you put them in a sack, you hit someone with a sack of batteries, that would be assault with battery. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or a car battery. Imagine that, swinging that around.
You know someone's done that.
Yeah, assault with car battery.
China just throws car batteries into the ocean.
Yeah. So this is Taiwan. You know, they mobilized their anti-ship supersonic
This is the kind
missiles.
of thing I don't want to have to see, unfortunately.
Yeah, but at least,
sad.
You know, we always see the China side. They're always
I'm just sad that they have to do this.
Yeah, but it just shows that they're prepared. You know, they're not going to just sit there and take it.
No.
You know?
Remember, there's conscription in Taiwan.
Yeah.
All my Taiwanese friends had to serve in the army.
Exactly.
None of my Chinese friends served in the army.
Yes,
You know.
that's actually true. I grew up with some Taiwanese friends in Johannesburg. All of them, the ones that had grown up in Taiwan, or many of them had to fly back to Taiwan to do their military service. So, yeah, everyone did it. And you're right, I don't know anyone, like most people that go into the PLA are usually, they're definitely not middle class, let's put it that way. You know, there's no reason. If you're earning money, if you've got a job, yeah, exactly.
Then you're the richest people in the
Yeah,
country.
sure, exactly. The National Defense Force from Taiwan says, for freedom, democracy, and our nation's sovereignty, we condemn PRC Eastern Theater's announcement of joint Legion, blah, 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 jeopardizing regional peace.
2024A. That implies there's another one coming this year. No, there is.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that could go all the way up to Z.
They could. That kind of gives, I think we figured out the psyop here.
Yeah.
They want you to think, oh, there's another one coming, B, but it doesn't stop it.
No,
B.
it just goes
That's
to
not
Z.
the invasion. It goes to Z.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what happens to Z. It doesn't end in 3 days, that's for sure.
Well, you know,
It's not
China,
a 3-day invasion.
Yeah, but yeah, that's true. But you know, China, they'll be like, this is our A, B, C, and by the end, then they're like, damn, we still haven't done anything. Then they'll add on to it. Now I know my age. And then like, and then they'll be like, oh man, no, wait, we made a mistake. Let's start over again.
Yes.
Anyway, so they say, we stand ready with firm will and restraint. We seek no conflicts, but we will not shy away from one. We have the capacity, determination, and confidence to safeguard our national security. You know, which is a good, rational way to respond to a situation like this. And Taiwan has to be the most patient of countries.
Oh my gosh. I have some quotes from Taiwanese friends that I'll read at the end that shows the patience.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, let's take a look here. This is again the from the Taiwan
we'll
National
just get out of there.
Security. Yeah, they put this out.
Funny, you know what's funny? I don't
That
get like
patch.
I don't get like those horrible authoritarian vibes when I see this war propaganda stuff from Taiwan.
Yeah,
it just seems
it's
like
nice.
it's a reasonable. It was like a
It's a
reasonable,
reasonable response. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do like the fact that they are using the equipment that China's military equipment is a copy of. They're using the real thing.
That's true.
You know, interesting fact, the Soviet Union, how they got the Sidewinder missile technology, you know, heat seekers, is because of a conflict between China and Taiwan.
Oh.
Because, you know, Taiwan had an American Sidewinder equipped fighter jet fired at a MiG, and it got stuck in the MiG and it didn't explode. And so they flew back with it, and then they reverse engineered it.
That's right.
Interesting. Anyway, I love this patch. This is from the Hawaiian Raptors, and you got the F-22s over there. And it says, kill with aloha. And it's got Winnie the Pooh with a little balloon, because you know the spy balloon is like that white balloon being screwed.
Oh, yeah. It's the Hawaiian flag.
It's like,
That's
I kind of love it.
Very funny.
I like the way Taiwan can have a joke about this type of thing. You know?
Yeah.
And
I think the Hawaii Raptors are probably American military.
yeah, I'm just saying, but you know, like with the whole Winnie the Pooh, you know, those like scramble. You put those in, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, Japan will defend Taiwan. Reiterated, they have a strong friendship with Taiwan, and of course, Japan sees the fact that Taiwan is its own independent nation is very key to security in the area. Because, of course, Japan and China have a bit of a history here, and, you know, Japan would prefer the status quo. So if there is a conflict, Japan will get involved. The USA has a pact to say they will get involved too. So that's also a reason why we don't see China just trying it on, you know? So, yeah, I love these. You might remember these from a while ago. It's like we're open 24/7 as a Taiwanese bear punching Winnie the Pooh. And fight for freedom. These patches are awesome, by the way. I know a friend actually offered to send me some.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I think I'll take him up on that offer, put it on my motorcycle jacket. You know, I'm not one for like political slogans or anything, but this I'd wear.
That's pretty sweet.
This is awesome. It's such a cool design. What do we got next over here? Yes, there's cartoons, and this is, you see this kind of thing, you know, China's always throwing a hissy fit, and Taiwan's just sitting there back eating popcorn and drinking milk
actually,
tea.
just leave that up for a second. I want to read the Chinese media response.
Sure.
So when William Lai was inaugurated, right, new president of Taiwan, the Global Times already cast him as arrogant and reckless, and CCTV wrote that he will certainly be nailed to the pillar of shame in history, and lambasted him for selling the two-nation theory.
Okay.
So, I mean, you have this babyish response, but I thought this cartoon reminded me of what, I'll just paraphrase some stuff that I spoke to a Taiwanese friend this morning. I asked him this, I said, what is it like on the ground? Because I know the air raids are going off. It's hectic, right? He said, no one gives a shit. And I said, why? Like, doesn't it feel weird to be encircled by China? And he said, we've always been encircled by China. We're on China's doorstep.
Yeah.
He said, if we don't live a normal life, then we're never going to live a normal life. The threat's always there.
Correct.
And I said, that makes perfect sense.
Correct.
He said, everyone's just going about their days.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It is. It's fantastic.
Oh, there's a quote from BBC. It says, on the streets of Taipei, the response to the drills have been a collective shrug.
It's true. You kind of get tired of this bluster. And this cartoon over here, it really does encapsulate that, doesn't it?
It does.
China's always throwing a hissy fit, and Taiwan just chills out. And they're like, whatever, bro. Tell me about your red line again. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if you can only say I'm going to do something so many times.
Why did the Chinese chicken cross the red line?
Why?
It didn't.
That's the joke.
Yeah, exactly. That type of thing, yeah.
Either piss on the frog or get out.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah, where is this? Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's kind of the situation right now with all of that. Anything else you'd like to add to that situation?
Oh, yes. I want to finish off with this. So you might ask why, right? We've talked about this a million times. It's not just a matter of national pride. That's more for domestic propaganda.
Yes.
China needs to show their citizens, we promised you this a million times since Mao took over.
Yeah.
That we're going to take back Taiwan. So we got to keep the fire stoked.
Yeah.
Right. Constantly running drills, telling everyone it's going to happen, showing off military parades, North Korea style, right?
And you know what? Then they can relax for a while, because once the public's all stoked up, yeah, we taught them a lesson. We showed them how weak they are and how strong we are. Then the PLA and the Chinese government can be like, okay, now we can just go about our business for a while until people start to doubt us a bit more, and then we'll just do it again.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they do.
Yeah. But there's a real reason. That's again for population control. Remember, China's just like North Korea. There is no freedom of press, so they have to put stuff in the zeitgeist and make sure people fall in line. But in real life, really what they want is Taiwan's semiconductor industry, because that is the U.S. semiconductor industry. Really.
Yeah, and Taiwan has got the most advanced semiconductor industry in the world.
They need their chips. They need their chips, and I'm not talking about Doritos, bro.
No.
They need their chips for everything going forward. If China ever wants to surpass the West or Taiwan in general, because remember, Taiwan's much wealthier per capita.
Yeah.
It's much more developed. It's much more switched on.
Yeah, and that's what people don't seem to understand. They're always like, "Oh, China's the second biggest economy."
No, yeah, by
but like
scale.
scale. But it's actually it sucks, man.
It's
Most
poor
people
as
are
hell.
poor. Most people are poor in China, and yes, you get very rich people, but there's such a small percentage. The quality of life in China sucks donkey balls in comparison to Taiwan. I'm not kidding.
And don't even get me started on compared to America.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
joke.
Yeah, if you have lived, you lived in Taiwan and China. I lived in
Incomparable.
China for over a decade, 14 years, and visited Taiwan many times. You can't compare the two. Taiwan is streets ahead. It literally takes China and kicks it in the balls so hard that China becomes a eunuch when it comes to this.
Yes, like an old school Chinese eunuch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Honestly, Taiwan's
One of those hats.
yeah, way better. Exactly, got one of those hats. So, yeah,
So anyway,
they want that. They want the riches. They want the
riches, but
technology.
It's beyond that too. They want to surpass the U.S., right?
Yeah.
And you have to be able to take over the semiconductor industry.
Yes.
Taiwan has a monopoly on this, right? So there are fail safes now, which are very hilarious to me, because it really removes the incentive to want to invade Taiwan. Keep in mind, if China invades Taiwan, they might win.
Yeah.
But did they really?
I think it'll be the biggest mistake they ever make.
It's like suicide for global opinion of you. You will delete millions, if not tens of millions, of your fighting force, of your soldiers.
Yes.
You will deplete your entire military supply. You will potentially suffer a blockade in the ocean from getting your oil from other places.
Yeah.
You will suffer sanctions from countries that quite literally fuel your entire economy. Without the US,
food.
you will be nothing.
Yeah,
You
not
will
only
be
the US.
Nothing.
I think all the goodwill that they have would be just completely thrown out the window. I'm pretty sure that countries right now that are very happy to deal with China, after they show some kind of aggression and invade, will not want to deal with them anymore.
It'll at least get some of them to flip.
Shit like Temu or Temu and
Yeah.
Shane and all that nonsense is probably not going to be popular anymore.
No.
You know?
So this comes at a massive cost.
Yeah.
And the massive cost, it doesn't have to happen when you have kill switches on the semiconductor industry to where, okay, the first moment that boots hit the ground or the first ship that pulls up on Taiwan's shore, those semiconductor facilities go boom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you've lost all reason to do such a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's done.
Yeah, there's no point.
No.
All you're going to do is enrage the entire world and get a piece of land.
And Crossman Jeff says, thought the same for Russia, but here we are. And that's a good point. But to counter that, I would say thought the same for Russia, but here we are because they get to watch Russia.
Yes.
How many years are we into this now?
Yeah.
Like there's supposed to be a 3-day invasion, right? They can look at this and go, wow, that's a land border that Russia failed to storm in 3 days. And now we're years into this and how much money in debt.
You think Russia doesn't have a strong military and
They have
military
a
weapons
damn
and
strong
tanks
military.
and planes and fighter jets and everything?
China is not ready for this. And if they are, like I said, let's say for some bizarre reason there was no U.S. support or something and everyone pulled out and they managed to pull it off, what do you win? You win nothing.
Yeah.
You potentially disrupt public opinion in your own country, and that's China's biggest fear. Because if you get your own people to turn on you, there's no turning back.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right. That's right. So,
Not saying it's not going to happen, by the way.
Yeah.
Not saying it's not
but we
going to
have
happen.
look, we have to be rational about this. I think at the end of the day, that's what we're all about over here. Is we have to be realistic.
Yeah, there's a difference between a China hawk and someone who's critical of CCP.
Yeah.
I don't think we're China hawks. I don't think we think that China's necessarily bad or good
There
or
are no
better at
birds in
anything.
China, so
Yeah,
You
true.
know, yeah, it would have to be something else.
We look at what we have experienced in the country and we look at facts and we look at what China's response is and we try to translate that best to you. That's what we do.
So I would rationally try to say that don't let your guard down, but don't expect anything to happen.
No.
You know, other than a bunch of bluster.
But it could.
Nonsense.
You never know with unpredictable despots.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so now you wanted to have a shout out to our friend Jordan, didn't you? We got a very good friend, Jordan. Unfortunately, makes the worst thumbnails in the entire history of YouTube. But other than that, he's a fantastic
Thrills
podcaster.
are biologically important. Kids need thrills. When older men say, oh, the kids these days are soft, well, yeah, because we didn't let them do that. So things were bad in 2019, and then they got worse during COVID. Now that COVID's gone, they haven't gotten better. Self-harm, anxiety, and depression all have this hockey stick shape. Girls all over the world were starting to copy her, including shouting out the word beans. Actually was a movement disorder. They would jerk and twitch. They weren't faking it.
So that sounds crazy. This is like a bunch of hype intros, but it was a great interview. Jordan, our friend, interviewed this guy named Jonathan Haidt, and what he was talking about was how social media and smartphones have altered childhood.
Sure.
I think everyone can agree with that.
Yeah.
Just a quote here. Social media and smartphones have drastically altered childhood since the early 2010s, leading to an increased rates of anxiety, depression, self-harm, and offing oneself amongst teens, especially girls. Virtual interactions on social media are disembodied, shallow, and can spread mental health issues among susceptible teens. But it's not just about teens. It's about overprotection, underprotection. We don't let our kids go and do things by themselves anymore so they're more attracted to social media and this fake life.
Yeah.
Short form media destroying attention spans, right?
Sure.
This whole thing was a great conversation. And
Sounds like a good one to listen to.
it is. JordanHarbinger.com/990. If you want to hear that episode, all of his stuff is free. Again, huge friend of the show. So if you want to subscribe to his YouTube channel, links in the description. Tell him China Show sent you.
Yeah, just be like, China Show sent me. We'd appreciate that. He'd appreciate that. And yeah, he's a fantastic interviewer. We've also done interviews with him. So.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. What are we doing next? Is it Worldview?
It is.
Worldview, where we talk about everything in the world, specifically with regards to China. And what is it that we're
Hopefully
talking
we can
about
show
today?
this. I think you know.
Oh, yes.
This was freaking
This is so good. This is
hilarious.
great. By the way, Saturday Night Live, don't sue us.
Well,
Okay.
I don't think they're going to sue us. I think they'll like claim us.
Well, whatever. You can't claim me.
You know what I mean? Video claim.
Exactly.
I don't mind if they claim and they want to do revenue sharing. That's
Yeah.
fine. But please keep this video
Yeah,
up. Actually, just leave it up here. Maybe it'll warn us. Yeah.
No, it'll be
I think
fine.
it'll be fine.
Now, the reason we want to show you this is just too good and too hilarious. It's something that we haven't seen because for the longest time now, China's been almost an untouchable subject. You can't say anything bad about China, you know, if you're a company or if you're a media outlet or something.
Business suicide.
Yeah, it is business suicide. You would just like, you know, China will boycott you and then you won't be able to, like the NBA, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, they can't say anything, otherwise they won't allow them to, you know, have their shows and do their sports stuff in China.
Yeah, it's called basketball.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? Like bounce their balls. They'll be like, no, we'll bounce your balls out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. Good
Yeah.
puns today.
Anyway, so you just got to see this. It's the best thing.
But it's so accurate because people will have these thoughts in their head, and then the vast majority of these suckers, I'm sorry, I don't mean to call you a sucker, but if you're buying from and I'm not even going to point out specific companies, any fast fashion stuff,
cheap
fast
nonsense,
fashion, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're not worrying about it is what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like how they use the same voice that gets used in like those
It's like
Temu
an imitation,
commercials,
or
Temu
any
or
of them.
Shane or whatever they are called.
Should be or something.
Yeah. It's awesome.
But it's this like indifference.
Yeah,
It's like okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No prisoners involved. Yeah.
Wrong
religions. Yeah.
So this is a poke at the Uyghur
Xinjiang
genocide. If you
Uyghurs,
guys don't know,
yeah.
China's genociding millions of Uyghurs in Western China.
Yeah,
or
culturally
being not
genociding.
Chinese.
Yeah, I like how they got a PLA like uniform to
That was
snatch it from it.
fantastic
Yeah.
detail. By the way, if you guys didn't know, for years now, people keep finding notes in their clothes from slave
Or Christmas
factories.
decorations and
Yeah.
stuff saying, "Please help me."
Because they're forced prison labor, but it's
Yeah.
not the prison labor you're thinking of, where you get like a nominal wage to make something.
Yeah.
It's like these people that don't even have identities, black site prisons. Like they're people that are disappeared and then put in this like slave labor camp.
Yeah, they get no compensation for the stuff they're forced.
Honest, and
Brilliant.
it was so funny.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's sobering, and it's a nice wake up that like people are over this whole like I'm not scared of this China thing anymore.
Yeah, and that's
You
the
gotta
best.
laugh at it.
That's the best takeaway from that is
Yeah.
no country should be above criticism.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
And China has been above criticism for the longest time. It's insane if you think about how much the U.S. is criticized by the entire world.
Yeah.
Never mind its own populace. Why is it not okay to criticize China?
It just became. I would say we were in a precarious position 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Like when China ramped up how much they cared about what people were saying about it back in like 2020, 2021, around that time, man, it was dicey because people were falling in line.
They were.
People were like, I'm not going to talk shit about the Chinese government anymore.
Yeah.
And we were like, guys, wake up.
I know.
You
it's
have
like
to criticize.
COVID problems. But if you're like, hey, listen, this is China lied to the world and stuff. They're like, you're racist and you're anti-Asian.
Yeah.
And like you're causing people to get beaten up, grandmas.
Well, again, that was also CCP propaganda.
Yeah, it was.
They
Turns out.
instigated all that
Yeah, they
stuff.
did.
Anyway,
Yeah.
to bring it back, it's nice to see that the pendulum's swinging the other direction. It's finally... It's maybe closer to... It was here where no one would do anything. Now it's here.
Yes,
right?
now people are willing to speak out a bit because, hey, Saturday Night Live, you can't watch it in China anyway.
No.
But like, they'd have to worry about their parent company or something getting a boycott or some nonsense normally. But I'm glad they went ahead.
Danner said something really good. Danner 253. You guys used to never get sponsors. It was crazy. You remember
Yeah.
that? No
Yeah.
one... People would like do an interview with us. They'd be like, you guys are awesome. Hang out. And then later they're like, sorry, we can't do it.
Yeah, we had that.
They were too scared.
Yep.
And it's wild, but that's changed.
Yeah, now we've got actual sponsors on our
And we
show,
know
yeah.
the people that try. There were people we know that personally, actually.
Yeah.
Hopefully something's done about it. But they actively went out and hurt our livelihood and our income.
Yeah, they would approach people that were sponsoring us, and then
and
tell
they
them-
actually got
yeah.
them to stop.
Yeah, in
But
some
it's-
cases.
That's wildly backfired now.
Yeah.
Because now that's been made news stories. That's
Mm-hmm.
been like we've talked to people that are interested in having sponsors with us, and we worked our way back up.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying people are chomping at the bit or anything, but now people are not scared off by that because there's proof as to what was happening.
Yes.
And so it's really it's almost a good thing that happened back then.
Yeah.
Because now people are like, well, if I want to do the right thing.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
amazing. So it's
Great.
good to see the pendulum start to swing back, as you said. It's very heartwarming.
Yeah.
It really warms you up, just like a Chinese EV.
Oh, crap.
What's that? Oh, we got...
Yeah. We'll see.
copyright.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's
no,
okay.
we didn't get copyright.
Okay, yeah, well, you know
We
what I mean.
didn't get copyright. It's just warning us that we were playing footage.
That's okay, and I don't mind to share our
don't mind
ad
at all.
revenue with them because that was
a great skit.
fantastic skit.
Yes.
It's totally worth it. Anyway, guys, it's time for us to move on to our questions and answers, our Q&A section called Yamcha. This is where we answer your questions and you question our answers. So, yes, time to loosen the tie. We leave this up for the weekend, and you get to watch it live. But if you're not watching it live or on the weekend, we bid you adieu. Stay awesome. We'll see you next time. And for the rest of us, let's get stuck in. What do we got?